Sheila Kast. Thalia Assurus is off today.
And I'm John Hockenberry. Boyd Mattson is on vacation. In the news at this hour, a federal jury finds Exxon guilty of recklessness in the 1989 Valdez oil spill. Police in Los Angeles investigate the murders of O.J. Simpson's ex-wife and a man. MetLife and Travelers reportedly plan to create the country's biggest healthcare company. Also coming up in this half hour, weather and sports. Meet Britain's pink polka-dotted answer to Barney, and we'll check out some of the stories in this morning's newspapers. We begin with the top of the news. Sheila.
Alaskan villagers along Prince William Sound are welcoming a federal jury decision that places the blame for the Exxon Valdez oil spill. The 12 jurors found that both Exxon and the captain of the Valdez, Joseph Hazelwood, acted recklessly. The decision clears the way for oil spill victims to sue for billions of dollars in damages. Here's ABC's Bill Redeker.
The jury found that Hazelwood, who ran aground the Exxon Valdez 5 years ago, was drunk at the time, and that Exxon officials knew he had a drinking problem but left him in command anyway. The verdict means that the plaintiffs, 10,000 commercial fishermen, Alaskan natives, and property owners, can now make their case for compensation, up to $15 billion in punitive damages, another $1.5 billion in property damage.
Nobody wants to cripple Exxon. We want to change Exxon. We want to make the Exxons of the world aware of the fact that they're responsible the same way that you and I are responsible.
The chairman of Exxon said that the company's $3.5 billion cleanup effort proves that punitive damages are unwarranted. But fishermen say they are still suffering, that salmon and herring have not returned.
This is the most damaging oil spill in human history. We know that. It wasn't the largest in terms of volume spilled, but it was the most damaging, biologically, economically, and socially, of any oil spill in human history.
Next month, the same jury that found Exxon and Hazelwood guilty of recklessness will begin considering how much the two should pay. Bill Redeker, ABC News.
A lawyer for O.J. Simpson says the football great is cooperating in the investigation into the deaths of his ex-wife and a 25-year-old man. Simpson was questioned by police for several hours yesterday and is said to be devastated by the apparent murders. The bodies of Nicole Simpson and Ronald Goldman were discovered early yesterday morning on a walkway leading to her condominium. Police say what they call sharp force injuries, such as stab wounds, appear to have played a part in the deaths. The White House has revealed that President and Mrs. Clinton have provided sworn testimony to the special counsel in the Whitewater case. The President and First Lady were questioned Sunday in separate sessions with Special Counsel Robert Fisk. He asked them about administration discussions of the Clintons' Whitewater real estate investment and about last summer's suicide of White House lawyer Vincent Foster.
The Haitian military reportedly plans to respond to a possible invasion with a strategy of evaporation. Sources close to Haiti's military say soldiers would avoid confrontation by wearing street clothes and disappearing among civilian crowds. Right now, Haitians are trying to deal with the latest tightening of sanctions against their country. ABC's Mike Van Fremd reports from Port-au-Prince.
The Clinton administration's latest sanctions have resulted in a run on the banks. The ban on the international transfer of funds, coupled with Haitians' rush to liquidate their investments, has resulted in a cash crisis. The maximum withdrawal is now $200 a day.
They're causing panic.
$200, not more than $200.
The problem is getting enough money that you need to do what you want.
The scene at the airline ticket offices is much the same, as there are now only 9 days left to leave the country. U.S. officials are concerned that the deteriorating economic situation may also result in a new wave of boat people. So the United States spokesman here has recorded a public service radio announcement warning Haitians that it is not safe to take to the high seas. The concern is that the Clinton administration is sending mixed signals. While it is telling Haitians not to come, it is sending cruise ships to Jamaica to help those who try. For many, that may be incentive enough. Mike Van Fremd, ABC News, Port-au-Prince.
President and Mrs. Clinton entertained by the book last night, throwing a lavish state dinner for the Emperor and Empress of Japan. The Clintons greeted the royal couple in the White House before the state dinner in the Rose Garden. Both the hosts and the guests of honor stressed the warm relations between their countries and ignored such thorny matters as the trade deficit. The purpose of an NAACP leadership meeting taking place in Baltimore is to reaffirm the struggle for civil rights. but the talks have been overshadowed by protests over one participant, Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
The NAACP knows all about demonstrations. This venerable civil rights group effectively used protests to advance its cause. But now the NAACP is itself the target of demonstrators protesting the presence of Nation of Islam chief Louis Farrakhan, well known for his anti-Semitic remarks. Even some NAACP members think inviting Farrakhan was a huge mistake.
The NAACP has been hijacked by a group of black extremists, and Louis Farrakhan is the apostle of anti-Semitism and bigotry and of hate and of black racism.
The civil rights group now fears it will lose the financial support of white contributors. Farrakhan vows to fight any company that withdraws support from the NAACP.
I promise you in the name of Almighty God, I will boycott every corporate American. I will march on you like I never marched before. I'll turn your corporations inside out and upside down.
NAACP officials say they have been surprised by the attacks brought on by the invitation to Farrakhan.
It is ironic and somewhat strange to hear voices of opposition to the NAACP's sponsorship of the Leadership Summit.
Final debates at the conference will include ways to use the Black Congressional Caucus more effectively. The conference hopes it can end on an upbeat note by agreeing on an economic strategy for black Americans. John Cochran, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
A merger of two insurance companies will reportedly create the nation's largest healthcare company. The New York Times reports Travelers and Metropolitan Life are expected to announce a merger deal soon, possibly today. The new company reportedly will focus on health maintenance organizations and other managed care health business. Neither Travelers nor MetLife has commented on the report. The high-powered Hubble Space Telescope has spotted what appears to be would-be baby planets. NASA scientists say photos taken by Hubble last December show disks of dust surrounded by dozens of stars in the Orion Nebula. They're similar to the clouds that scientists believe created Earth. The experts call the newly found dust clouds protoplanetary disks that could be future planets.
I don't know, I suddenly don't feel so much alone here in the universe. Turning to today's national weather forecast, rain showers remain in the Northwest, while thunderstorms linger in the Midwest and across much of Dixie. Parts of New England will be stormy with highs in the 70s. The rest of the East is at the start of a heat wave with highs in the humid 80s and 90s. The World News Now national temperature index is 863 Fahrenheit, 462 Celsius. Now some local forecasts as we visit Miami Beach.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Check ignition and may God's love be with you.
World News Now weather, brought to you by GE.
There's a problem with most dishwashers. No matter how hard you try, there's always something that doesn't quite fit in. Unless you have the GE Profile dishwasher with Smart Rack design. Unlike the average dishwasher, you get over 20 different loading options that let you arrange pots, pans, and dishes with the greatest of ease. The GE Profile.
Mom!
A fitting end.
No problem.
To any meal.
Leslie Nielsen's Bad Golf Made Easier.
Billy, the reason the game is called golf is because all the other four-letter words have been taken.
It's the new home video that teaches you the fundamentals.
The only really useful tip in golf is the one you get at the start.
And how to play the problem lie. Call now to order Leslie Nielsen's Bad Golf Made Easier.
Only $19.98 plus $4 for shipping. Dial 1-800-CALL-ABC. That's 1-800-CALL-ABC.
Summer's just about here, but don't panic. If you get on the Ultra Slim Fast plan today, you could lose 10 pounds in a month. The plan's easy. The calories have been counted, the fat grams have been computed. You don't even have to think about nutrition. It's all in there. A shake for breakfast, one for lunch, a sensible dinner, even candy bars as snacks. So start today. By the time the weather heats up, you could look really hot. Ultra Slim Fast. Come on, start today. You could lose 10 pounds in a month.
Why suffer another sleepless night when you can now own a Wonder Bed for as low as $49 per month with no money down? That's right, only $49 per month with no money down. The electrically adjustable Wonder Bed individually raises your head and feet for the ultimate in comfort and support. All you do is push a button, and Wonder Bed will make it easier for you to read, watch TV, or just relax in bed. No flatbed can offer you more at any price. If you'd like to find out about the electrically adjustable Wonder Bed, call the toll-free number you see on your TV, and we'll mail you a free video and brochure. There's no obligation to buy anything, and no salesman will ever come to your home. So call Wonder Bed now at the number shown on your TV anytime, day or night, to own a Wonder Bed for as low as only $49 per month with approved credit. Call right now for the Wonder Bed.
World News Now Sports, brought to you by Wonder Bed.
One of the most exciting plays in baseball, an inside-the-park home run, highlighted the action in St. Louis last night, where the slumping Florida Marlins were playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals were leading 1-0 in the ninth inning when Florida's Brett Barbary laced a shot off the wall. It eluded Ray Langford and Mark Whitten, and Barbary was off to the races. He beat the throw home for an inside-the-park round tripper, the first in Florida Marlins history. That tied the game. But in the bottom of the ninth, with a man on base, Tom Pagnozzi singled the game winner. The Cardinals beat the Marlins 2-1. It was the fifth straight loss for Florida. The U.S. Open Golf Championship gets underway on Thursday outside Pittsburgh, and Fuzzy Zoeller will be among those in the field. He's not one of the favorites to win the Open, but Zoeller is always a favorite on the lucrative corporate golf circuit. In our sports feature, ABC's Dick Schaap hits the links with Fuzzy. We added the scores.
If you play a round of golf with Jack Nicklaus, you can say you played with the greatest golfer who ever lived. If you play a round of golf with John Daly, you can say you played with the biggest hitter who ever lived. But if you play a round of golf with Fuzzy Zoeller, you can say you had fun.
I don't know how you're going to edit that type shot, but it happened. Good shot, Dick.
I want to see the replay of that.
For all we know, it went down the fairway 250 yards.
You know, my number one job in a pro-am is to make sure that my amateur golfers have had a day that they'll never forget.
2 boys and a girl out of it?
Fuzzy Zoeller's attitude may explain why he is a hit at pro-ams and corporate outings.
That's the way I take the game, just like that kid was laying there and... Oh, you're way off.
He earns more than $1 million a year just from such appearances.
Fuzzy keeps you laughing, he keeps you loose, and even plays not too bad.
Zoeller plays pretty good. At the age of 42, he has won more than $500,000 in prize money this year, more than he had won in any of his 19 previous years on the PGA Tour.
I think there's the great thing about the game of golf is that there's more than one way to play it and enjoy it.
Oh, Fuzz, you big damn boon. Fuzzy's way is the fun way. Laughing, smiling, conceding that not every shot is going to be perfect.
That's no problem. I can make 6 from there. Play hard.
My attitude is very simple. You know, I accept the fact that I am not a machine, although sometimes I do shock myself.
Zoeller won the Masters in a playoff in 1979, and he won the U.S. Open 5 years later, whipping Greg Norman by 8 strokes in a good-natured playoff. He has earned millions, as he says, without ever holding a job, and he delights in being free of back pain, which once threatened to end his career. He also delights in his family and his home, overlooking the southern Indiana countryside in which he was raised and taught the game of golf.
I used to throw clubs. I used to break clubs. And then my dad said, son, let's try the game another way. You start paying for these broken clubs that you're breaking here. Start controlling your temper a little bit. Start respecting the game of golf itself.
Zeller then modeled himself on the golfer he still respects most, Arnold Palmer.
If a doctor came to me and said I had one more round of golf and I want to pick a foursome to play with, I'm going to pick Arnold. I'll pick a Chichi Rodriguez. And I'll pick a John Daly.
And you'll smile through that whole round, I would imagine.
Oh, we laugh and have fun, which is the way the game should be played.
ABC's World News Now will continue after this from our ABC station.
When you watch Don Webster on Live on 5, you get more than just the weather. When you see Roy Weisinger, you get more than just the news. And now Lee Jordan is helping make Live on 5 even better. Cleveland's best news from Cleveland's first 5 o'clock news show, Live on 5. The news team you've made your number one choice at 6 o'clock is now on every weeknight at 11 with more news than ever. Ted Henry, Lorna Barrett, Don Webster, and Ned Chandler. Your News Channel 5 team now at 6 and 11.
Introducing the $5,000 Super Spa Package. A package so complete, the only thing missing is you. This package includes power pack, cover, custom plumbing, jets, chemicals, and more. And now, the best attribute of all. For a limited time, you can own a $5,000 Super Spa Package for just $19.95. $19.95. But only at Leisure Time Warehouse.
Whether we like to admit it here in the colonies, former colonies, we really owe a lot to Britain. After that 1776 business, I think we in America can say that if the British Empire had some new thing they were dying to show us, we always took our time and listened. Industrial Revolution, let's take a look, we said. When those four guys with the weird haircuts started selling records, hey, we said, let's put them on American TV, make them feel at home. We did the same with Cats and Phantom of the Opera. British food, no thanks. Cricket, we prefer baseball. But even as President of the United States, Bill Clinton got an earful of British superiority when he went back to Oxford, his old school.
Just as you are the first president in office of the United States to be honored in this theater, which was completed to Christopher Wren's design, almost exactly 120 years before George Washington was inaugurated.
That's impressive. So when we here at World News Now heard that another British phenomenon was headed our way, a happy little creature named Mr. Blobby that every little girl and boy in the UK has fallen in love with, we said, sure, we'll take a look. How bad could it be, we thought? It's from Britain.
I'd like to know what it is, since I've never seen one before.
Well, it's Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby. What is Mr. Blobby going to be?
I like him.
Tell me why you like him.
Because he's cute. He's fun
Fall in the name. Oh, let me help you on.
And people can relate to the fact that he's very enthusiastic, he's very lovable, he's not violent, but he is incompetent.
Half one goal against Spurs in that game. Thank you very much. And we've just got some really important news in here affecting the Premier League in England. Blob, 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 blob. Blob, 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 blob. You could be the star of it.
Stop it! I'm just saying to everybody how much I want you to come in. I've been missing you.
This is a bouquet, a hot bouquet, and try to keep up appearances with her.
I do hope you haven't just tuned in. You'd wonder what it was about. Get the chance to welcome to the close-up of the true voice of Birmingham. Today is no exception. Here's a model who wears exclusive creation the way a turkey wears. It's Mr. Blobby.
Music is the message as Top of the Pops gets back on tune with the introduction of the most flamboyant DJ since Simon Bates.
One of the things I think is absolutely fascinating about Mr. Blobby, and one of the reasons why he will be a big hit in America, is grown men like you take him seriously.
I dare say the sun has set on the British Empire, Sheila.
You're watching World News Now. Summer's just about here, but don't panic. If you get on the Ultra Slim Fast plan today, you could lose 10 pounds in a month. The plan's easy. The calories have been counted, the fat grams have been computed. You don't even have to think about nutrition. It's all in there. A shake for breakfast, one for lunch, a sensible dinner, even candy bars as snacks. So start today. By the time the weather heats up, you could look really hot. Ultra Slim Fast. Come on, start today. You could lose 10 pounds in a month.
Sleep deprivation. 70 million Americans have experienced it, but you don't have to. Introducing Sleep and All Soft Gels with the sleep aid preferred by 7 out of 10 doctors. New Sleep and All Soft Gels help you fall asleep fast.
You know what I hate? Pain. That's why I love Aspercream. When I get mine on muscle aches, I just rub it in for fast relief that lasts for hours. And it's odor-free. Why live with pain? You're going to love it. Aspercream does not contain aspirin.
Ask your doctor how to relieve acid indigestion, and he'll probably recommend a liquid antacid. Well, now there's a liquid you can carry in your pocket. It's Tempo. Soft, chewy Tempo tablets with the liquid antacid ingredients doctors recommend. On contact with stomach acid, Tempo gives you the speed of liquids to quickly soothe uncomfortable gas and upset stomach. Tempo relieves indigestion fast with the liquid antacid ingredients doctors recommend.
This is the time of day when we take a look at some of the headlines that may be in your morning papers. and show you some of the photos that may be inside. You found a story?
Well, I've got the LA Times here, and this is a really interesting story. It's about the tobacco industry and about how stars, an LA Times investigation, about how stars in LA in the movies allegedly received payments from the tobacco industry to have tobacco products of a particular company appear in some of the movies.
That is interesting. Picture that I found sort of enigmatic. A motorist entering downtown Albany, go past this billboard that just says the death penalty, which is going to be a big issue politically in New York, but the advertising company that took out the billboard won't explain why they've got it up there.
One of those great ads that's so meaningless it has big impact.
Maybe it's not meaningless. Maybe it means a lot. We just don't know.
That's true. Here from the Miami Herald, this big hold the presses on this one. AMA says doctors might improve their handwriting to prevent improper prescriptions.
Yes, they might.
Yeah, they might.
That could happen. Welfare reform is a real big issue. President Clinton is proposing his federal welfare reform proposal. There is, in the States, it's also a big issue. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, a bunch of people who are upset about Governor Casey's proposed cuts in welfare are camping out in front of the state capitol, calling their turf Caseyville. And there's also a lot of stories in the newspapers about welfare reform. Here in the Kansas City Star, what's wrong with welfare? The Indianapolis paper, welfare recipients to work, the governor's proposal in Indiana, and then some commentary on President Clinton's welfare reform plans.
Little healthcare story here. Evander Holyfield, who allegedly has retired from the ring, says a faith healer has healed his defective heart. Saves on medical bills.
Really? That should be part of healthcare reform. You may have forgotten what day this is. This is Flag Day, and 350 students, teachers, and school staff members formed an American flag in Jamestown, New York, at something called Clinton v. Bush School.
A lot of flags. That's the news for this half hour.
Coming up for many of you, more World News Now. Or stay tuned for World News This Morning.
More insomniacs get their news from World News Now than from any other source.